it's time to play Metal Gear. I always think I do a shit Snick. I don't think I do a good one.
You don't think you do a good Snake?
No, I don't. No, the only deep gravelly voice I do that I think I do well is Rex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like Rex was my spirit animal because everyone else in that fucking game didn't give a shit. Like like everyone else had this fucking deal with him, but Rex was like, I shoot people, and I was like, I jive with that because I also, as the player, don't know what's going on, but I can sympathize.
Yeah,
And so he became the all the other characters made things really complex, you know, and Rex just let you shoot people.
Yeah,
And that was, that was really welcome as a character. I'd be like, well, there's this big complex answer to this thing, or you could just shoot the guy in the mouth, and that was usually the way to do things, right?
absolutely. I've always empathized with the picture of the Vityaz member in the GIGN helmet. All you see is his eyes in the Makarov.
Yeah, I do not know what I am. All I know is I must kill.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that I loved Rex because for the first time through the game, just take Rex because you could be like, here, you be Commander Shepard and ask a complex question that a player would ask about anything alien, and I will give you a Rex response.
But given the Asari history with the genome research, how is that going to affect diplomatic tension with the Solarian race?
Well, what I think we should do is we should go over there and shoot them all in the face, Shepard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes things so much nicer. Like, it's not, you don't get like dialogue trees. It's just like shoot, 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 pause, shoot. And I'm like, yes, I need that. I need that wild card.
100%.
Sorry to derail this. Well, yeah, sorry to derail this. So this is the Metal Gear Solid 2 Subsistence or Substance Stance
Substance.
TM, trademark.
Yes, it's subsistence on the third game because Kojima can't decide.
Okay, so let me read this title card like a film, Tactical espionage action, Metal Gear Solid 2, rights reserved. 2, Substance, trademark. I mean, what? Ugh. All right, so Konami.
So you guys will notice that there's a 2 behind the title, and we tried and tried. We just cannot get the GOG version of Metal Gear Solid to play nice. So if we want to later, we'll do the Twin Snakes for the story. But we've just got to move on.
Yeah, we do. And the other thing we realize is the GOG makes a lot of games work, like on Windows 7 or Windows 10. They'll work in DOSBox or whatever, but they still have all the cancer of the original bad port, if it was a bad port.
Yes, and Kojima, Konami, they did not put out good ports of the first 2 Metal Gear Solid games on PC. They just stopped giving a shit and never ported 3, 4, or 5.
Right, so we're going to be jumping around and doing whatever works as best we can, because we kept having the controller die in the first one, and watching Dep, run like a lunatic. I felt like announcing...
Yeah, I'm gonna cut some of that footage of me just running in circles and getting murdered for a Metal Gear Mondays intro.
If you do that, I would love to do like a John Madden over it, where we draw some lines and stuff. We're like, he's at the 20, because it looks like a really bad Madden game.
Oh, it does,
running in circles. Yeah, it's hilarious. All right, let's start this fucker. Let's
start this fucking game. What isn't this game about? This is where it went off the fucking rails. This is my favorite of the Metal Gear Solid games story-wise because it's so fucking bonkers.
I hate that you say that because I like the third one. Because
I love the third one for gameplay, and the story, and it's great. But this one is just so off the rails, it's like an acid trip.
Well, no, my problem with... Okay, so there's the first one. You are a guy, you go into a facility, you swim in there with no gun... You walk up, you choke some bitches out. Everyone has a FAMAS, right?
Yeah.
So you go up there and you choke some bitches out, and FAMAS, you eat food. You run up. Let's see the characters you encounter. There's the guy who has the heart attack for no reason. There's that chick that's like buff, and that's cool, but like she's also like got a chip on her shoulder and is like a shit shot. And then like Snake yells at her, and she like unloads like, you know, 1,000,000 rounds and 20 people, and I'm like, that also doesn't make you a soldier, madam. That's just crazy. And
Yeah, and then
like,
Snake objectifies her by staring at her ass.
well, right,
Yeah.
yeah. And then like what else? There's a Russian cowboy who can't pronounce GRU right. He's like the Gru. You're like, what is he talking?
Yes.
I didn't know what he's fucking talking about.
Well, he's talking about the main character from oh fuck, what's that cutesy fucking Despicable Me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the deal was, but then like you shoot his fucking hand off, and he's using single action armies like a lunatic, because those aren't drop safe. They're not drop safe if they're real single action armies. And he's like ha ha ha, and he
Well, maybe they're
spins and
new
he flips.
vaqueros.
If they were, that would be nice, but he also couldn't reload them like he does. So, sorry. Point Tex for obscure gun knowledge, because I know how you can reload a single action army versus Ruger Vaquero. Ruger Vaquero only releases the indexing pole when the side gate load is open. So it's like, fuck this guy. I got him. He just doesn't know what he's doing. So, where was I? Yeah. So you get the cowboy. You have, like, the guy who is too big to be in a tank. And then he walks around with an M161 Vulcan and just like, and he has a bunch of birds because, hey,
Yeah.
tie it in. Birds love catastrophically loud explosions. They love them. And they are drawn to them like moths to the flame. And so you have that guy. You got the lady who, is Snake wearing a trash bag?
It's a flasher poncho, I think.
Yeah. So all right. So here's
camo.
just watch him like, yeah. Oh fuck yes.
Oh yeah, he Tom Cruise runs. It's great.
So here's why I think this movie goes off the rail. In the first movie, he really wanted to be a director.
I love that
but
you call them movies.
Yeah. Well, in the first movie, I can't help it. That's in the first movie. He wanted to call himself a director, and he ran out of disk space, and so he had to fill it in with gameplay because he couldn't make movie. And so in this one, they gave him more space, and again, he ran out of space and had to fill in the movie with game. And it is a movie. Everything's a set piece. This is a set piece. It's all aping various techno thriller, Tom Clancy-ish James Bond stuff.
Oh, 100%.
And I love that because that's the stuff I like watching. You know, I'm a simple man. I like strong women, breakfast food, and trashy movies. And so I'm fine with all this. I grew up with like canon films. Terminator right there. Boom. Thank you.
Yep.
All very iconic. And he just borrows like crazy from everything, and that's fine. That's fine. It's painting from colors we know. But my issue is that all of these are inherently movies, and movies typically have a conveyance, some sort of motif by which to elicit a response. You know, like if you see a movie about the Holocaust, you're sad, or you see a movie about the Great Depression, you're moved because those were your forefathers, or you know, these things are moving as art. And yet, this movie and all of his movies have left me going, "What happened?" Like that is my response. It's just what happened. Like this is very interesting. And he's got great elements. He's got fantastic elements. The idea of like a long-standing cabal of people running the government and everything, that's very Deus Ex. That's awesome. But
I hate to cut you off, but I just noticed.
Loud and clear, Snake.
All of the women in this game and onward get jiggle physics on their tits.
that wouldn't surprise me.
He gets jiggle physics on his mag pouches.
Oh, right. So it's universal. Good job, Kojima.
I'm sorry, this is probably the 15th time I've played through this game.
No, it's fine. Where the idea of WBPL is you see a lot of people playing games they know intimately, and they're showing you a game they've played a lot. And it's always going to be some weird little game that's personal to them, and along the way they share a personal story or anecdote, and you know it's the fun experience. But the problem is with all of this is, do you think he like walked into a development meeting and just wrote "booba" like on the wall, and like underlined it, and then left?
I think he built a culture in his studio where he didn't have to write anything. They just knew it.
Not exactly a classified
Yeah.
weapon for today's
All right.
This new one seems to
That's
be
fine.
designed to wipe the floor with all the other models. The only
I
consistent
mean,
description is that
I
this
also
can't
don't
produce
understand
anti-metal
why.
gear.
I love that you can move the camera, but I don't understand why, in a special operations environment, why you would want to, on like shortwave, call anyone. Because
Well-
I'm a former dispatcher radio operator, and I will tell you, radio is not, as they say, sneaky.
No.
It works by sending signals to fucking everywhere at once.
How close it is to completion. If we know where the testing arena is, I can start to draw some reasonable conclusions.
I like how these two guys are like, yeah, we're gonna espionage the United States, and nobody's
Yeah.
gonna know it was us. As he jumps off a fucking bridge, dressed like a stalker, onto the stern of this ship, which is being circled by Kasatkas, and the Marines don't notice.
And officially recognized by the UN.
It's yeah, I mean, I don't get what's going on, like what he's trying to preach, because again, I'm a shit director. I direct one series, and it's called Tex Talks Battletech, and I'm not a great director. That's why I have someone like Mike, who is a director of photography, so he can translate my like crazy batshit ideas
The chemical stun will take effect
into
in a few seconds and will last for
reality,
hours.
you know?
You can take down an
And so he helps, because I'll sit there and say George Lucas stuff, and then he'll like help me not poison everything I've ever made. And so like the problem is I can sit through a lot of these Kojima sequences in film, because these are all again film set pieces. I'm going, I would have shot this a different way. And I think a lot of people say that too, like, why would I go through here? And it's like, oh well, it looks good on camera, and you realize he's making a film, not a game.
Yeah, 100%. And there's
That's why
others.
I
There's
love-
others that do this too. Cyberpunk 2077 is very cinematic. If they
Yes,
had
I
marketed
agree.
that game differently, I think it would have been received better, because it's a more linear action adventure that you've got a sandbox built around rather than a true RPG.
Right, and I would have sold it as a high action, high speed, high octane, crazy
Yep.
shooter with some RPG elements rather than a straight up RPG.
Oh yeah,
right?
build the combat system a little bit different so it feels like Doom 2016, where
Yeah,
when you
that's
are
what I
at
mean.
your
Like,
highest
yeah,
level,
yeah.
you are just death incarnate.
ships passing on the river.
Oh,
and
someone renew to hydrate. Hold on, I'm gonna drink my
Oh
coffee.
god damn it. Okay.
people can get a clear view of the water from riverside.
It's liquid. So here's the thing: is like again, it's movies, but the cameras are static, and here's why I think that all of us liked the re-release of 3 that let you have a free camera.
Oh, absolutely. The subsistence version of 3 is vastly superior. This game,
It's almost like it's almost like, dare I say, giving the player agency is rewarding.
You see the entrance to the holds?
this game, the first release of 3 and the first game, are using Resident Evil horror camera angles, and once you recognize that's where that's from, you can't ever unsee that. Oh, no!
Man, that guy's operator is shit. Look at that guy.
You know, for years I wanted whatever camo these guys wore before I found out that Kojima just made it up.
It's a good camo. I don't
It's-
understand.
Yeah, like an
Well, what is-
all-brown variant of Flora.
So what is their whole fucking point? I don't get it. Like why do they have this? They have a very strange stance as they run around, and they look like, okay. Here's what I want you to do when they move around in this game. I want you to hear in your head the Police Academy thing. Just think about it. Dun, 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 dun. I mean,
Oh
it
yeah,
looks
so
like a fucking
they do the
80s.
lower. So this is
Oh, yeah.
their military advisor on this was the same SWAT officer that did all of them. So SWAT is not the same as the military.
Sure? No Marine barber.
I've played in both circles. I've played in both ponds. They're not the same thing. But a lot of people try and confuse the two. And I have to imagine Tokyo SWAT's very, very high speed, but it's not the same mission, and it's not the same skill set.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things where you look at those guys walking around, like, seriously, play the Police Academy theme in your head, and you're looking at virtually every 1980s to early 1990s.
Oh, yeah.
Like SWAT team. That's how they move.
I love that he heard blade noises, and he's like, it's a Kasatka.
Yeah, like, that's like hearing a fart in the wind and being like, ah, yes, garlic.
Not necessarily.
It's my favorite scene in Heartbreak Ridge where he fires the AK over their heads and he goes, "That's the sound of the AK," and they don't immediately respond. What?
Yeah, like it was big.
I can't hear you over the telephone.
I heard one pop, and then a series of quieter and quieter pops, and then this phone won't stop ringing.
There's a frequency set aside for it.
Oh God.
140.96.
So here's my question.
That's
Cookie.
141.96.
Hold on. Cookie redeemed Truth or Dare. I don't know what that means.
Jesus, yeah.
What is that? Does someone who runs the stream can tell us how this works?
We're incompetent. Just
Extremely.
forgive us.
Now,
How do
if
you
you
not
want,
see me?
if you want, Deputy, I can exchange while someone tells me how this works. If you want, do you know why he did this slide lock slide? Do you know why he did that?
Why?
Well, believe it or not, there was a big issue with naval special operations and M9's braking. That's where all of that comes from. The M9 slide brake. It's like, yeah, because Navy SEALs put like 800,000 rounds through them in a week.
Well, yeah,
So
it's the same
the
reason
brake-
they were bursting barrels on M4s. Caused the
Exactly.
beefy barrel upgrade for the A1.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where they put a lot of wear on things. So the reason you have this thing of these super slide heavy M9s is because in the gun world, especially in the police gun world, these things were cryptids.
All right, I guess we're not
that's
doing a
fucking
no
sweet.
lethal run.
Oh, fuck that. They started it. Now he can enjoy water. So that's how that goes. But so here's the thing is that back in the day, there's this guy named Frobus, and he created this slide, and it's called a Frobus, P-H-R-O-B-I-S, M9 pistol slide. And they're super heavy reinforced M9 slides, and they don't have a cut all the way across the slide for the ejection. It's actually to one side like a 1911. So it's like a super beefy reinforced M9 slide. And that's why you see that shit in these Metal Gear games. It's referencing these pistols, and they're like magic because only 20 or so were ever made from my reports.
Man, it's
At
weird
least
he
by the
had the
original
special
man.
tranquilizer bullets on him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So truth or dare? What is, yeah. I don't know what else. I mean, we could play truth or dare. As far as dares go, we're both adventurous people and probably not. Okay, Dep, tell me the truth. What is the worst, and I mean the absolute heinously true worst cop fact of all the memes people tell about police? Which is one that's actually true? Let's play that.
Enemy sighted.
It's got to be about donuts.
Hold on.
Enemy.
Well, yeah, you got to clap this guy, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Please don't look for him.
Don't look for him, dude. He is just going. He's gonna take a refreshing dip in the water, deputy. He's about to have an accident.
No, they're gonna get here too soon. They gotta find him asleep. because they just kick him. Yeah, they kick him and they berate him. The
Right, so
the teams on this are no joke. Yeah, see,
No.
there they are.
yeah, the quick response in this is nice. They just move funny. Yeah, like, what kind of fucking
It's like watching a
tranquilizers are we
fucking
using?
penguin.
Yeah, shoot that guy. Yeah, like, throw that guy overboard.
Yeah, this is the same guy.
Oh, well, throw him overboard now.
All right, you get to try the unconscious swimming, friend.
Ah, it's nap time. But, like, I remember when you and I were talking with Far Cry 5 with a cop, and you were saying, like, the worst donut, without a doubt. Like, but it was like true police stories, and I
Okay,
was like,
well-
I don't even care about grisly police stories. I just want to know true police stories. Like, is it true that powdered donuts are banned? You know, stuff like that.
Not banned, highly discouraged.
Well, you said that the best donut is the pink with the sprinkles. Like,
yeah.
you had,
I
you had
hold
a
myself
tiered
to
donut.
that.
No, I think you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That is a patrician.
Chocolate's fine. I'm not really a chocolate kind of guy.
I think glazed is just asking for like lint and gross. I
Well,
think
and you
glazed
get
is just,
glazed
like,
all over the steering wheel.
It's,
Yeah,
yes, the train.
the train. There's something I was trying to get up to. Oh no, it's not on this part.
So what I'm wondering is what special what is his, who's paying his bills? Who is
Nobody
paying
now.
his bills
He's freelance, fringe.
I don't think that's the way that works. I don't think you're allowed to go off the books on stuff like this.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
they.
in fact there are known consequences for actions such as this roguery.
Yep.
Well, that
Conducting
that's not
espionage as a private citizen against your own government. We've got a word for that, and it's treason.
yeah, it's the fact enumerated in the Constitution is one of the few crimes punishable by hanging. So yeah, it's rather severe, as they say. So why is everything square in here? Like, have you noticed everything just has hard edges from the top? I mean, I know that's him framing a scene or whatever,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can sit in there and look at the girl. I remember this was a big deal. Like, oh, you could look at the poster of a girl in a game, and
Yeah,
people
and
would
if you move too forward to look out of the vent, you bang your forehead against the locker. This was really interesting stuff for this era, because they had to go in and code this. There were no shortcuts. There's no toolkits for this.
Yeah, I thought of them doing all that was really remarkable because it made like getting in and out of areas a lot more interesting, and it made it more rewarding to explore. It did not make up for the batshit lack of conscious understanding and cohesive writing in any way on the plot, because I think he just continually got tired of writing a movie and wrote a new one. I think he just kept writing new movies.
Oh, he dodged a grab.
It's the onion.
Oh wow, that was weird. Your grab was the weirdest thing I've seen. Like, it was just, you did this huge telegraph, like, weird monster grab.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you'd see on Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, like, oh no, the Fink is gonna get us. Hey, are you gonna use the knock thing? Ascentes has said, use the knock. Knock.
Give me a sec.
Pew.
Come here, you motherfucker.
They're like, what is this horrible rapping? It's rapping on my chamber door. I look over, dummy thick, and nevermore. So, Kinko Sagan says, quick question, what platform are you running this on?
So this is actually on RPCS2 emulator. So we are emulating the PS2 version of the Substance. And then I'm doing a game capture through OBS for that. Hold on.
Freeze.
Because this is a DualShock 4, I can't do the pressure sensitive controls, so I can't let up without shooting, for instance.
That's funny though.
Yeah, so we can't do the dog tag runs or anything like that, but you know, this is really actually kind of nicely modeled for being 2001.
Oh God, it's really nice. I mean, this is not that far off from much more primitive looking games that did not come out. I mean, I love the idea that they think that there's going to be functional lights on AK-74 SUs. I think that that's a hilarious idea. I'm not sure how many people have ever tried to like mount lights to suppressors, but suppressors get very warm.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like
Well,
yeah,
it's not
like,
even
like,
a light; it's a laser pointer.
Oh, well, pardon. What's funny with
It's
the
a
suppressors,
visible laser.
yeah, well, it's that's a great laser to have. And I was gonna say, there's no other mounting points on an AK whatsoever.
No,
obviously.
never.
So you have to use the suppressor directly that, and not the bracket on the left-hand side of the receiver riveted to it. Yeah. All right, let's see. What's he doing? Yeah, dude, let's fuck with this guy. Yeah, just do that.
God, they're so much faster on that kick than I am on the punch. Oh,
Enemy sighted. No, I try grab. Enemy sighted. You try kick. It very effective. It not
it's
effective.
turned into the shittiest thing of kickboxing.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. All right. So just.
And now his radio won't work. Oh, here they come! Here they come! Here they come! Oh shit!
Oh yeah, they're mad. Hey, you should knock. See what happens.
The situation is normal. All clear.
Absolutely nothing. Oh.
What is it?
Who's there?
Who's there? This poor man.
Alright,
Oh,
I'm
man.
done fucking with that guy. Oh, I just came out of here. That's right. Yeah, no, the guard AI got very funny in this one, which is wonderful, because it's what the series needed. It was way too serious.
Oh yeah. And yeah, there's plenty of stuff in BattleTech about cults and stuff. I mean, dude, it's a big universe. Dig deep enough.
Dance
You're
for
not
me,
gonna
baby.
find it all in one source. Oh, dude, yeah. Make this guy work for it. All right, here we go. Where are we going?
Going up. We've got to go have a fight with Lady Doesn't Shave Her Armpits.
Oh, one of them European ladies?
Yeah.
One of them European ladies whatnot likes having access to ride bicycles in public and whatnot. Doesn't sound very American to me.
No, no, sir. We are very much an automotive-centric nation. Video games. Ooh. I love vent food.
You should not eat food you find in vents. I think that you know you end up with like rations you eat in the vents.
There we go.
It should sound like somebody is like boiling something. Your gut should be like yeah.
Just chilling, just walking around all these fucking bodies.
Dude, he's hanging out.
What's that?
He has his little
what's
little
that?
action helmet. He has his little action buddy. Little helmet. He fall down though.
He
No, I bet
did
if he
fall
fell
down.
oh. Why would they mount a camera there? What is it watching? What is the camera watching at that point? Like, what is that camera? What is it for?
Nothing.
Why would it not watch the galley where there could be a fire? It's not a risk management camera. It's like watching somebody who might have lunch there. That's fucked. So people are redeeming pet? I don't know what that means. Pet your dog, Deb.
Oh, hold on. I gotta call them in here. Yes, I know. Semtex. It'll blow up the whole ship.
It's made everywhere. It's a Czech invention. You keep it next to the flower, you know.
Good buddy boy, huh?
See, there you go. He's petting his dog. See,
Well,
now you
now
have
I
to share
can't play
that.
the video game. Because my 2 hands are occupied.
See, there you go.
Are you happy now, chat?
Yeah, is chat happy? I guess. All right, let's move on. Now that
There we
we've
go.
cardboard box. Yeah.
The true
Oh, yeah,
ultimate
this-
weapon.
What's this guy's deal? He's like, I'm gonna have a nap.
Yeah.
Well, you know, what'd be funny is if you had an attack you could do that was contextual, where you could just grab people's ankles from under stuff and rip them under, you know, like if they're in the toilet or whatever. You're just like, yeah!
Yeah, I'd fall
Lightning
asleep
ding.
immediately too.
Yeah. Shots to the main vein are pretty drastic in terms of efficacy.
Well, you know that you are just murdering these people. There's no tranquilizer that can be administered that is that immediate without also being lethal.
Well, what I'm thinking would be kind of funny is like if you just if Snake was like, I'll make it look like an accident. No one will know I was here. Oh God. Here
I'm trying to remember how to get through this. Do you crawl?
Fire extinguisher.
Well, yeah, that's how you see the lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can crawl.
Oh, he just set right up in the middle of it.
He's
Gate.
dummy thick. His ass tripped the laser.
Yeah, man.
The
he
Colonel
does a lot of
warned us.
squats. Yeah, the Colonel warned us. The ass, it was too round and it tripped the laser. Just beat the shit out of him. There. Now he will forget his dance lessons. Good God. I once watched a Muay Thai like thing, and someone like bicycle kicked into the air somebody in the face like about 12 times. It was pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
That's not a
you
face kicking.
you get really, really good at a martial art. You can do nutty stuff like that. The thing is most people don't get really good at a martial art.
I've learned carry a gun, and I've also learned that in case that does not work, carry a second gun. And in case that does not work, you have friends who know where you are, and they also own firearms.
The camera cannot see me.
You are a stealthy motherfucker. Well done. You just slid against the wall. Good
Yeah,
man.
and the camera was like, yeah, clearly that's just part of the wall.
So at no point during his infiltration did he think, what if I turn the lights off?
No, never.
Just at no point did he think, I will turn the lights off and feign a power outage. And
You knew they were Russian choppers. You identified them by smell earlier.
yeah, I mean, it's just,
And everybody knows the Kasatka Corporation writes Kasatka on the side of all their helicopters.
well, dude, I mean, that's what you do. You have to write, I mean, as everyone knows, that every Boeing 747 has Boeing written on it in huge letters. everywhere.
It's
just,
like the
you know,
Jeep on the tailgate of all the old Jeep pickups.
Yep, it's everywhere. It's embossed and spray painted. Yeah.
The altimeter and the ground speed indicator are actually in the A's on the embossed Kasatka on the dashboard. I bet you didn't know
Which
that.
is- I did not, and that's very nice. That is very fancy. That is some fancy knowledge. Did you know that Kojima considers himself a director? Did you know that?
I'm starting to get the impression.
You're about to experience it for the next 30 hours.
No, the tanker chapter goes fast.
All right. Did you find out where that ship is headed? and he's like, where's Meryl? She's cool. You're
Why are
really
they heading to
lame."
Bermuda from New York? Like we could
That's part of that famous New York Bermuda run where we take rats to Bermuda. I mean,
Yeah.
like
we could have run this out of Norfolk. We could have run this out of fucking Pensacola.
any port, like any naval port would have made sense. But like New York Harbor, like the biggest, most observed harbor in the world, and how do you load it? Like, how do you do that? How do you load that harbor? Like, what the fuck? It's just like,
I see a manly woman out there. I'm gonna go harass her.
I mean, look, everyone's got a thing for tomboys, whether they admit it or not, you know. And I was dumb enough to admit that to the world, and they tortured me over it. But I will admit this: this one you can shoot. You can shoot this one all day long. Shoot, bang, bang. She talks way too much, and it's just, I mean, as far as dialogue and bad people go, I'm tired of it. I don't care who they are, what sex they are, what anything they are. I do not care. I care zero. It's just, please, for the love of God, exposition less. I will use a gun to end exposition. They were absolutely right in Mass Effect 2. If there's a button to shoot people to end a conversation, I will press it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
3 minutes. After 3 minutes, I will press that button.
See, there you go. Mag pouch jiggle physics.
Well, they have to, because it's Kojima, and this shit's important.
Also, he's got like 15 mag pouches, but I can only carry 46 rounds of M9 ammo.
I'd be like, ma'am, why aren't you wearing armor?
Ma'am, why aren't you wearing a shirt?
Ma'am, like, I get you're like one of the dudes or whatever, but could you also wear this thing we all wear called a uniform? It's the Counselor Troy thing, you know what I mean? Like, I get you're like special or whatever.
So that's...
But like, you... yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goat's like, man, why are you wearing heels? It's like, I'm not...
I think she's wearing the sapogi that all the other guys are wearing.
Well, what I'm saying is I'm not against anything. It's just like, could we all work together in the same military in theory?
What I want to know is why she's wearing like the bottom half of a proper rappelling harness. That was a perfectly timed
Toss your gun overboard. Slowly.
sound effect.
Yeah. Toss your gun overboard slowly.
She chucks it.
Yeah, it's
Is
like...
she wearing... What kind of gloves are those?
I don't even know. That's what I mean, is nothing fits. Like, okay, you want to write a strong female character. There are ways of doing it that would be really
armpit
interesting.
hair is not it.
No, it's just like, okay, you want to show a lady who's tough? Like, show her as one of the dudes and you don't realize it until she talks. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. You can show strength in a lot of ways, but it just shows that he's kind of disconnected from reality.
I think those are the razor wire gloves.
Not there. Toss it over.
Ah, yes, we must now have a fight with knives. It's like, I don't get it. I'm not trying to, like, judge any background. It's just alien. You know what I mean?
Oh god, we shot everybody piloting the ship, and now we're running into shit.
Don't worry about it, dude. It's fine. If we didn't run out there, the Navy would run into us. I mean, come on. This happens. Oh, man. Oh, man. Can you tell that The Matrix had just come out? Can you tell that? That The Matrix had just come out? Can you tell?
Yeah, it had been out a year and a half.
Can you tell that he'd watched The Matrix?
You know, I got that impression, yes. How many people do you shoot with your hidden gun knife?
I think that if you ever used your gun knife regularly, it shows that you are very poor at risk management. Like, if you have to rely on gun knife as a regular part of your repertoire. You fucked up. You fucked up a lot.
You done fucked up.
You know what's really funny, and this is maybe just me, Dep, and I'm just saying maybe this is just me, but you know, everyone I've ever met who's been in significant prolonged conflict and grown up around conflict, whether it be a rough upbringing or like, you know, like actually growing up in a war zone. I have friends from Serbia and Croatia, and they tell their stories, and I've spoken with a lot of veterans, and you know, one thing that I find is generally not common with them is they tend not to announce to the world their full background and history in the first gunfight they get in with a stranger. It seems unnecessary. Usually it's solve my fuck you and fuck that guy with that gun, you know, if anything.
Yeah.
And so I don't get this character that is going around like, oh, my father was this and my father. Who gives a fuck? They can't hear you. If it's a gunfight, shoot it out, and then later on you can make up whatever happened and tell that story as some life lesson or whatever. But like in the middle of a gunfight, talk over.
So here's a spot that we can highlight things you don't do in a gunfight. Popping your head out repeatedly from the exact same spot over and over again.
Yeah, it's repetition and telegraphing your movements in a gunfight are a good way to end up with bullets in you. Bullets that were not originally yours, and that is true. The other thing is that Kojima thinks that gunfights are like 1980s Hollywood movies, where someone leans around a crate and goes bam bam, and you lean around a crate bam bam, and it's just back and forth, and it's very cinematic. It feels like we're playing a 1980s showdown right now on top of a movie, you know, like a movie skyscraper. Like there's a helicopter circling around, the tarp's blowing around, you're shooting someone out, there's a spotlight. It's a cinematic throwdown. But again, I think it shows that Kojima doesn't quite understand how to pace things, because that typically is at the end of a movie.
How many fucking frag grenades does this lady have?
I mean, if she has a bunch of RDG-1s, I mean, you know, they sell those by, like, the Easter basket, bro. It's just like that. And, I mean, to her credit, she looks like a gal who does a lift. Like, not just, I'm athletic, I'm trim, but she actually lifts. So, I mean, she's not going to get tired of throwing those at you.
No. I just want to know what pocket she's putting them in, on account of she's not wearing any combat gear.
Well, she's wearing oversized trousers, I think, which are almost like they.
Yeah, those are Gorka 1 trousers in the same made-up flora. I recognize them.
But I'm just saying they're oversized, almost like it's to give an indication of like a firefighter wearing bunker gear. You know what I mean?
Man, it turns out I've eaten too much 45 today.
You know, it's one of those things. I mean, I can gripe all day. I don't make video games. I'm not like a fucking genius.
There we go.
I barely play any well. But it's like, what is the point of the showdown? Like, what do you learn from this?
Nothing.
You gain at 45.
Yep, you gain the USP, but we could have done that by having it on the body of a Marine.
What I think would have been more interesting, again, and this is just me, is have her be an unknown in uniform just like one of the dudes earlier on, and later on maybe you see the character as more revealed or something, and it adds layers and depth to the character, and all you see is the character's strength at first, and then you see a more humanistic side of them, and it humanizes them in degrees, maybe. I mean, I like to think about things like that, about, you know, oh, remember those drones, the ones everyone was terrified of? They're much worse now. Yeah.
Yeah, Iran made a copy of that.
Cypher.
They never really used it, but...
I don't think anyone used that thing, because...
No, it was a test bed.
It's loud as a helicopter, and it can lift like a car battery. It's not a...
Yeah, it sounds like one of those big shop fans. Like your dad had in his garage when he was disappointed in you.
It sounds like Well, for my dad to be disappointed in me, he'd have to pay attention to me. So, boom. Gotcha. But what I was gonna say is, I'm wondering how he's transmitting all this on like radio waves directly to this guy without everyone.
Yeah,
or
he's
any-
on
Yeah.
VHF.
Yeah, it's. I mean, because here's what I'm thinking: is in the old games, I think it was shortwave or VHF. It was.
The old games were
one of
definitely
the-
shortwave, but just based on frequency, I think this is VHF.
Yeah, I mean, in VHF would make more sense, but even then, like
Yeah.
VHF ELANT gear is the cheapest shit in the world, and everyone has it.
Yeah,
They're like, hey, there's a guy on the
like
the
this.
phone. Let's
This
book."
isn't even sync guards. This is just in the open, in the clear, on like a fucking aircraft channel. Like the Coast Guard's like, we need you to get off this channel. It's emergency traffic only.
Oh, this channel is for garbage scows taking rats to Bermuda. It is not for conversations. Over.
Last time you saw her, 10 years ago. You think it's a trap to lure us out here?
I like when I see Snake going on and 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 on.
Watch your back,
and on and on.
Otacon.
Equipped USP. I can take them on now.
Otacon, I think it's important to talk a lot in the middle of a operation so we can get caught when they come up with their ELANT gear and dogs. I like fighting dogs with my hands, Otacon. That's why I signed up for the service. And he's like, what? Throw her over the side.
That won't let me.
Damn.
What are you doing? How could you shoot someone who's unconscious? What are you, some kind of a monster?
Yes. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, what? I mean, like, again, why would she have a name at this point? She hasn't actually revealed a reason to have one. It's one of those things, again, show don't tell, but he treats everything like a play. Like, he expects you to, like, pause and start clapping when it introduces characters. Like, my favorite! And I'm like, buddy, prior to this playing this game, I have no idea who these people are, and no one else does either.
No.
I hope he's aware of that. Oh, yeah, dude, you can go up there with that radar running, no problem. Just walk all around it. That's not a problem.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, Snake was already sterile, so it's fine. He is gonna get a little bit warm, though.
Okay, Mushra says, hey, there's a guy in the ventilation listening to an audiobook and giving a lecture over this frequency. I'm like, just some guy sitting there in the booth just going, we got a guy, I'd say he's about 200 meters away from the transmitter, and he seems to be listening to somebody read some expository
Yeah, he's
dialogue.
listening to the Iliad over audiobook.
Yeah, it's just like, what is he doing? Oh, I love this.
My kung fu better than yours.
I don't think so, Dep, because it didn't connect. Well, actually, it looked like an action movie. You know what I mean? Like where it doesn't connect, but the guy flies anyways.
Yeah.
All right, you know what? I think that guy needs to go over the side.
He does.
I think he needs to have a nap.
But first,
Freeze.
All right. Yep. There you go.
just making sure nobody's in there.
Yeah, I mean, I would. And I wonder what kind of fucking downers you have to give someone to knock him out, like, instantly.
Yeah, no,
Like this.
so I got a really horrible story about tranquilizer guns. But I've seen tranquilizer guns go bad, and that's the only time I've ever seen anything go out by a tranquilizer gun that quickly. It's like, oh, well, what load did you just fire at them? Oh, that's the bull load.
Good God.
Yeah, I just gave them 6 milligrams of ketamine.
Good God. Like, yeah, it's just like you're using surgical strength, fucking anesthetic, like dispensed via bullet. I mean, it's gotta be bad.
Yeah.
So first time chat, Urawanka says, is it true that they had the idea of microwave ovens because of radar accidents? I don't think it's because of radar accidents. I think they just realized that by concentrating radar emission, or radio emissions, they can produce a heating effect in a non-deleterious manner to other organic things nearby by putting it in a box.
What's that?
There's a lot of other things that go into it, like magnetrons and stuff, but I'm not an electronic engineer, and I think it all works by magic. So I think the pop bing sound thing it just works by little gnomes in there. It's easier that way. Uh-oh. Looks like this guy's upset. He got his mouth on that radio before you clapped his face. So there's no way that yeah. We are in an alert now.
Yep, I'm not very good.
Alright, so we are in an alert now, it looks like. That's fun. So what's that? Oh, okay, firefight time. Using that SOCOM to get the big beef energy out of the gun. Oh, that's nice. Bang boom, straight to the moon.
I'm just gonna depopulate this fucking ship. They're gonna find it run aground on like fucking Liberty Isle, and they're gonna be like, "How did this get here?"
Give me, you're tired, you're hungry, you're in. Holy shit, a freighter! You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds fun.
No,
Time to get on the table like a weirdo.
I ran out of ammo.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where, like, I think after the first 8 guys, they would probably get an idea to step back and reassess. They'd be like, that guy there-
Maybe we should, initiate with a grenade or something.
Next to
you
the-
didn't see that. You didn't see that. You didn't see that. God damn it.
No, just go the other way. Like, let's Looney Tunes him. Come on, you can do this. You're smart. Oh, deploying additional men. Oh, you're
Yep,
in
there they
trouble.
are. Yep.
Here comes the murder squad. I love in 3 where you can just pretend to die. Like you can just be like, I died.
Yeah, I am surrounded.
You know, I know that, like, how many AK rounds can Snake eat, you think?
About 18, based on that. Alright.
Snake, respond. Snake.
He died poorly.
You died wrong.
Stealth is optional. Deputy is trying the stealth.
Not really.
Well, okay, so here's my idea.
Was there a noise just now?
Yeah, let's just... Are you trying to get that guy to run around? Oh, yeah, alright, I see. You're going to give him to run around that way, and then you're going to just leave the other way. Very, very clever. Very clever.
I can't use stairs like a normal person.
Well, yeah, because why would you? That would be sane, right?
Yeah.
Again,
that was
what is
in the
that
spinal cord.
Ugh. What is that camera even supposed to fucking watch, though? Again, like,
It's just staring at that handrail, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, did someone steal that handrail? Did someone, like, shit in that hallway?
If I recall, you can set off the fire alarm? Fine, don't give me nothing.
Well, yeah.
You'll pay for your insolence.
Exactly. Just, they're like, why was this guy's brains blown out? And it's like, he didn't have a bologna sandwich. Snake angry.
You ever hear Third Eye Blind? Because he's having... I can't even make the fucking joke. It's so stupid.
Imagine. All right, you know what would have made Snake better is, I don't know why, but in these games they always make the guys sound like me. They always make the guys sound tough, and I think that's dumb.
Yeah,
I
this
think
guy
it
did
would
not
be,
hear that gunshot.
yeah, I think it would be funnier if Snake sounded like he was from like Boston or Rhode Island. I think that would have made this whole game series like 10,000% better. Where it's just like, He's like, what happened to Revolver Ocelot? And instead of some deep, meaningful, weird, contrived saying on combat, he's just like, yeah, I gave him the Mo Green special. Like, just shot him in the face. End of story. Like, okay, there's a good one. Snake voiced by Mike Tyson. He's discombobulated.
Oh god, no, 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 no.
Oh, it appears you have found some friends. What if Snake's go-to weapon was a briefcase full of thermite? Like, he
I
just
swear to
had
God,
a
I'll kill us all.
No, like he just had a briefcase with like it had a ripcord on the edge. So imagine a World War II satchel charge with a briefcase, you know, like handle on it and a ripcord. And then as soon as he gets into trouble, Snake says something very unclever like, there's no reason to blow your stack. And they're like, what? And then he pulls the ripcord on the briefcase. Yeah, Frito says, you can't just say wicked pissa during covert ops. Yeah, like, I think that would, like, Bostonian, like, that was why I got mad at Fallout 4. I would have forgiven all of its huge, huge melody of sins. I would have forgiven
they'd gone into it, yeah.
If they had Boston accents, I would have loved it to be like, yeah, the Minutemen, you know, just like, yeah, you think you're fucking smarter than us? Just, yeah, that would have made it great. They had one guy with a Boston accent, and I was like, that is fucking terrible. Why? That's a sin.
You're just gonna leave him there?
He's like, none of my business. Oh, man. All right, let's see. Oh, shoot him. There you go. God, how many people are you drilling in the face?
They're all gonna have a nasty fucking habit after I'm done with them.
Yeah, someone said, if anything, the accents would have gotten... Or, sorry, North Pacific Tree Octopus says, if anything, the accents would have gotten worse over 200 years isolated in vaults.
Yes!
Like,
100%.
Everyone else has moved on to, like, some Creole of, like, 4 or 5 regional trade languages, and then, like, these guys come out of the vault, and they're like, man, fucking hot out here, and just starts fighting people with shotguns. That is a Fallout I want to play. The guy's like, yeah, outside seems pretty bad. You just have to go fight people. That's the game I want to play.
That's right, it's the other one. So I killed that man for no reason.
No. How would they know? Like, are you calling Otacon after each one? And he's like, Otacon, I squeezed until he stopped breathing. I'm gonna move on to another in another minute. And he's like, oh, why? I want you to know what this cost. When they say it costs sacrifice to gear. Yeah, like Snake advises him, like, you wanted pictures, right? Well, this is where they come from, Otacon. And he's like,
That's my favorite thing is, I don't know anybody that plays Snake as the super hard ass that he is in all the cutscenes, right? Oh, Vulcan Raven.
wow. It's a chain gun man. It's the heavy. Yeah. It's stupid. Like, why?
It's an airsoft toy.
It's great, but like, why is it shooting fire if it's an airsoft toy? Like, that doesn't seem safe. That seems very dangerous. You remember back in the day where they would have like toy guns that I don't even mean the ones like the Feiner 50 that look like a fucking real gun and were made out of metal and actually shot projectiles. Mm-hmm. Like the Mattel Feiner 50, like it looked like a single action army made out of metal and it shot like bullets. But if you want to see like bad toys, remember back in the day where they had, and I love all the little pellets flying everywhere. I think that's great. But
They
remember
don't go away. The pellets remain.
Oh no, it's like way better modeled than a lot of things in this game have any right to be. And
Yeah.
it's little subtle like genius strokes like this where you're like, holy shit, why? But I remember those toy guns that you could have that were like little plastic toy guns, and they had like a giant grind wheel in the middle of them, like a flywheel of iron, and then you would pull the trigger and get it up to speed. And then it would start shooting out from the tip of it a shower of sparks. And so I remember these really cheap toys. I don't know where they came from. Oh yeah, we need to kidnap this guy to let him see the toy
No, you don't get
gun.
to fight me.
I think you
No.
need to put him in the room with the toy gun so people wonder what happened in here.
I think I killed him. Nah, he's fine.
But I remember those toy guns, and I was thinking, like, you know, those are fucking dangerous back in the day because people are like, oh, the airsoft guns are dangerous. And I was like, no, those little things that shoot sparks out of the end, those things were horribly fucking dangerous. Because I saw as a kid someone shoot those at a lampshade and it burst into flames instantly, like to the ceiling. Like, I was like, oh, different toys are fun for different reasons. I get it.
He fell into the engine. Like, what is this man doing? He looks back and forth. What is your purpose? I stare at this column.
You think he's being punished?
That's gotta be it, right?
Yeah, Zingbopt offers that society really went downhill when parlor guns went out of style. I mean, what else are you gonna do when drinking with some boys in a saloon? I agree. Like, bring out the light rifles so that we may imbibe whiskey and shoot things indoors. Thank you, 6mm Flaubert.
We know.
Send him to the deep.
I had a friend who made his own parlor pistol, with a Smith & Wesson Model 10. Don't fight it. Good night, my sweet prince. So what he was doing was he was reloading his 38 ammo, but he wasn't putting any powder in there. And with just the charge from the primer, he was able to do target shooting from across his garage.
That's pretty fucking cool. I mean, that's what light loads are for. It's not practical for recoil, but it's hilarious. I knew a guy who made himself a parlor gun by fashioning. He basically bought a 10-inch barrel of 22 long rifle and just built a hinged action rolling block on the back of it. And since it's 22, it doesn't even have to be good steel particularly. And so he just made this little light rolling block that was very simple, and he used it to just ping things that were like less than 100 meters away, 100 yards, and he would just use that as his little fun gun. And he made it himself. He used it to practice stock making as well.
Yeah, some of the weirdest and coolest things out there are just somebody's project rifle to see if they could.
Yeah, it's usually nice to see those things. Now,
you belong to
I
me
wonder
now.
why. I wonder why they would have men in the engine room when they can control an engine room from the engine room control room, where usually all of the things like the oil filters and all the other important stuff are that actually govern, like, the engine's not burning. So it's like, why? What is their deal? Like, these guys are using bad tactics, and it makes me mad.
Repair of the entranceway to the engine room on the port side is complete. We'll return to position following patrol of the small room on the...
Fuck that guy.
I love that the guy is sitting there and just standing and staring directly ahead at the wall as he radios in a report. Like, what is, why?
Gotta hide him, gotta hide him.
You could have put him outside. You know, no one needs to know. No one needs to know, Deputy. No one needs to know.
He's dead. Nobody needs to.
Enemy personnel
What? No.
Send the replacement guy.
Oh wow! Somebody just had you. Oh, yep, up. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, no, they found the I see. Yeah, no, that makes sense. They found all the bodies leading up here. That's what took them so long to get here, is they started on the other side of the engine room.
Oh, right. They had to follow the trail of murder.
Yeah, so they no. Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, the missing guy's in the locker next to me.
Yeah, all right. Got it. We're not smart, but
No.
we are us. So
I do like the front and back poster gag. That's good.
it's nice. I mean, that's thoughtful. Much like the BBs. The few hours of expository dialogue.
However, does not make up for it. Yeah.
No. It's just there are a lot of choices that are made entirely deliberately, and require enormous effort to be done that way. And it's just to me, I like discussing it because it's alien. It's just so weird.
Well, it's very much Tarantino-esque in that this is not the way people actually talk, but it's on the wrong end of that spectrum. Like it's passed through the uncanny valley from everybody being very smooth and witty back to like fucking retard talk.
I don't get it. I really don't understand the translation because, again, I find that it's an attempt at doing, as you put, like Tarantino-like dialogue, where it's trying to be snappy and witty and really flow with it. But the issue I find that I largely find with this whole bonkers arrangement is the dialogue is, again, it's trying to be smooth. Everyone's trying to out-smooth each other, and everyone's trying to out-unique each other. And so it's like an action movie that unfolds where instead of the hero having his moment in the sun and growing and you see why he's the great hero, every 5 minutes there's somebody like that who may or may not be even relevant. And that's where it just gets bonkers. Like, why?
Oops. Did you know you'd set off Semtex with a bullet?
Well, no.
No, neither did I really.
Yeah, no, actually, let me get the data sheet on that. One moment.
I'm pretty sure Semtex is like remarkably stable.
Well, one moment, and let me get it from the manufacturer. Is manufactured by Explosia, which is in Pardubice in the Czech Republic. So, let me read their MSDS and all that stuff. Classification for transports, packaging and marking, disposal considerations, yeah, sitting here, safety and health, firefighting legislation, physical and function, flashpoint. All right, so, yeah, it will flash into 150C. Detonation, wow, actually, that's not bad at all. Sensitivity to impact is a 2 kilogram hammer being slung at it. Quite hard, and its thermal stability is actually quite high. So, I mean, this is about as stable as you can get with garden variety bang bang.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's remarkably stable. It's not like the other, like Russian explosive filler is A-IX-2 in common nomenclature, and that is like not safe to handle, but very long lasting.
Yeah,
and so
stores really well, which is what they needed out of it.
Right, and so everyone has these kind of logistical considerations with making explosive mix, and each one has its own pros and cons based on the end use, and there is no like perfect everything unless you have all the money known to man. And until that nation arises, the rest, I think, the rest of the world just makes do. All right, so I love that somehow in this ship there is a transition space where it appears you're walking like almost through like a keel bilge, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like in one of these doors in the keel bilge you go through, and there is a magical underground giant area, despite the keel bilge should be like in the bowels of the ship. So and there's this giant military training thing that's happening while the ship is underway with people standing like, why? Like that was the jump the shark moment for me.
Well, they're supposed to be in. Oh. They're supposed to be in a tanker.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, if it's a Panamax or Suezmax, those are known sizes, and yeah, you can put a lot of stuff in there. But
yeah,
they're not designed for carrying physical things. More like liquid. It's a cargo thing, so it's again an interesting choice. A container ship would be a lot more believable. And yeah, it's like the ship seems to have massively high ceilings. Oh, I agree. Having crawled through a great number of
yes.
ships. Oh, this is beautiful. I love this. This is like a zombie. This is like Left 4 Dead.
And I think they've given up on sending people.
Well,
there's my pentazadamine. Or however they pronounce it. Why not real drug?
Well, I don't understand why he thinks that people would take drugs before going into like heavy combat, because like in the previous game, he was leading it to believe that like diazepam, which is Valium,
which is what this is supposed to be now.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like I am a person with super high anxiety and a lot of other things. I've been prescribed diazepam in the past, and I will tell you there is 0 things you can do on diazepam. 0.
Well, no, it keeps your hands from shaking. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it does significantly more from that. It makes your brain, it prevents that from thinking about anything at all, and it makes the hands do nothing. They don't shake because they also are not mobile. They are just at your sides as though you were an automaton at rest. So it is a calm down pill, and even if you took it and shaved it in very, very little amounts, I don't think that would really be good, because in combat you can be calm to an extent, but those heightened skills and awareness brought on by things like adrenaline are actually quite useful to an extent.
Oh yeah, no, those are survival skills. Those are survival capabilities that you require.
Yeah, and so if you're sitting there with that and you dull it with a drug that does make your hand steady but also makes you completely unaware of anything outside the scope, that is a bad gun. And that is a bad mix of drug to go with it. And so when the first game was like, yes, we'll use the wonder drug and make bullets shoot accurate, I was no.
You ever watched a movie, I think it was called Buffalo Soldiers, about the drugs on the German military base in the late 80s?
Oh, God, yeah. That was a great movie.
Starting scene with the M60 tanker that's just out of his gourd.
Yeah,
running over Volkswagens and shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what would have happened. Yeah, that's just a better movie than it had any right to be.
There's a lot of movies that are like that are actually way better. Also, why are these guys walking around with hand walkies? Like, they're like, all right, we brought our fucking Russian NVGs that run on Russian equipment. We brought Russian guns that run...
Those are PNV 57Es. I've used those. They're god-awful. They're a Gen 0 system.
Well, right, but let me say this. Like, they brought Russian equipment for everything.
Yeah.
Everything. So why is the fucker walking around with a walkie-talkie? They brought Russian helicopters.
Well, the walkie-talkies are on sale at Toys R Us. Nice combat.
That's what I mean. Is it's just like, why would you do that? It just shows like, well, if they're bringing all of their own native equipment, they would bring all of it or none of it. Otherwise, it would be a bunch of guys going out to like some crazy militia compound and buying guns off people, and having a mix of stuff for some black market crap or stuff they smuggled in. And it would be a lot of converted machine guns and stuff. I mean, that's what that looks like in a you know, deniable operations area. And so I was thinking that, yeah, that could be interesting if they're like, oh, who are these guys? And there's no unifying thing to them, but then all of a sudden Snake realizes, oh, they speak Russian. You know, that adds a layer to it. That shows like, oh, wait. Snake's like, oh, these aren't just random hijackers. They speak Russian. And then it's like, oh, and it adds a layer. But
oh, yeah,
no.
you could do a little scene where he, you know, captures one, goes over the equipment like, converted DPMRS or whatever, right? Because you want to show that this is all locally acquired. This is all, you know, labels cut out of uniform kind of stuff.
Well, right. And
deniable
it's
gray
just
ops.
like, and that would be interesting. Like it would show the character's depth of knowledge. Like he could pick up a gun and go, this is a sanitized AK, you know, and call that in and have that conversation. And then he could explain the whole thing that Kojima seems to be trying to harp on, that arms proliferation bad. I'd be like, that would explain it in one statement. Oh yeah. And of course all cowboys wear spurs and jingles.
Yeah. Well, you've got to wear the Mexican Star spurs that jingle. You can't just have, you know, the military style that's just a spoke.
You know, I hate to be a dick, but I would love him if he pulled the trigger on that and it ricocheted and came back around and like shot the end of his ear off, and then he just starts going.
Since ricocheting ammo is his thing.
Yeah. Like, it shoots the edge of his ear off, and he stands there, and no one's watching, and he cries badly. I mean, just, like, sobbing. Like,
yeah, like, why does this always happen to me?
Like, he just cries. Oh, wow. Someone tipped us $1,987. Not really. It was $19.87, which is cool. I just think it'd be funny if, like, someone just moved to zero on accident, and we're like, wow, that's amazing, and then they moved it back. Like, oh, no, never mind. Like, minus $1,987. You know what I mean? Like, there's a chargeback that's live.
Here's my favorite part, because there's so much stupid shit you can do.
Oh, here we go. But thank you guys
remember,
for your support.
There's an entire Marine division in the hold, and they just didn't hear any of the gunfire.
I have so many statements I can make. It would be like movie sense. Like, okay, they have straight magazines about next generation warfare.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, and as you know, you could stand above a catwalk in a cavernous room and talk at normal
have a
volume,
conversation. Yes.
And no one can hear you, of course.
My favorite thing is just how unjammable this radio is. Because I've had military comms be jammed by somebody charging their cell phone off the generator that they shouldn't have been using for personal stuff.
Could you imagine how different this game would be if it was like, if Otacon, okay, imagine if Otacon was played by Boba. He's like, hey man, look man, it's a Marine robot. Pretty fucking cool, man. And that's all he says, you know, and you're like, what? And he's like, check it out. Or don't.
I did have Boba sit through this game. And the noises that poor man made. Because he'd never experienced the glory that is Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, God. I am hydrating. I'm drinking coffee.
Oh, we got another hydrate?
Yeah, we do.
I've got a 1 liter or 1 gallon jug of water next to me for this purpose.
What I want to do is use a different method for sending these photos.
Someone said the Marines are just on Valium. That would explain.
They're all on pentazidamine or whatever they call it.
Yeah, right. So Kojima's doctrine, like, we saw the prequel of that at the last base, and now that's caught on. Everyone's like out of their ass on fucking Valium, and so all they can do is watch this officer.
So they can watch the commandant and not interrupt him.
That's what I mean, is like the commandant doesn't know. He's like, these are the most attentive Marines I have ever seen. Outstanding. And, you know, they're just out of their mind, like, man, this boat is weird.
The app will automatically launch and download the image data from the camera. Split the files and
I forgot to take all the funny photos. Whatever. He says all sorts of stupid shit if you take photos of all the nudie posters. Or
and he gets
yeah.
well, he gets all fucking bent out of shape, and he needs to shut the fuck up because he's not the guy down here snapping necks and cashing checks. Like
Yeah.
he's like, get me pictures of things, and you like kill 3 people, and he's like, I didn't know this was gonna be violent. It's like, motherfucker, what do you think these hands are for? They're not for petting dogs. Like, Snake doesn't have pets. He doesn't have friends. He kills people. And so Otacon's like, let's have this huge conversation on a catwalk.
Yeah.
And again, someone else is sitting there on the radio going, again, the guy with the book is back. He's now in the Marines section, and he's having a conversation with his autistic friend.
Yeah. Well, while Otacon's there, like, I can't believe how much you've hurt people. Snake's, doing that. Well, they didn't want these hands.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where he just goes around like Dark Lodestar says, Snake got them daddy stranglers. Thank you. If you're the same man who calls into the fucking podcast, you are a saint. Those are some of the most thought-provoking questions.
Oh yeah, I always enjoy them.
Yeah. So I love these briefings because these are these are not unrealistic briefings.
We're just putting random Marines to sleep.
Oh, they'll do that on their own. I saw a Marine fall asleep once while talking. I saw a guy in the Marines.
I had to do it once.
I know. I saw a guy in the Marines fall asleep while talking. Like he was having a conversation, and I was like talking back and forth with him, and then the words stopped, and I looked up, and he was asleep, and he was standing, and I was like, amazing! It's like a cryptid.
I have fallen asleep standing before. That's what 4-hour watch cycles will do to you.
Well, it was amazing because I poked him a few times. He didn't fall over. He just kept correcting. It was just this. It was amazing. I was like, I need a David Attenborough thing. I was like, Marines can fall asleep at any time, in any position, for any reason. And I get you. I mean, I'm not.
Don't mind me crawling at your feet.
What if you tied their shoelaces together? Like that was one of the options. Like you could just tie all their shoelaces together, or you walked around with like a hammer and you just smashed their toes. The guy just falls down and no one does it. They're like, oh, LT. Oh, God.
I thought he'd give me more time than that.
As you know, in military formation, everyone's gun is loaded. Especially...
Well, and the second you hear anybody move, anytime you hear a sniffle, anytime anything happens, you immediately know there's an intruder and don't think that fucking LT walked in front of the projector again.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these people are already asleep. You could walk in there and shoot that guy in the mouth, and they would be like, oh, this is a really powerful briefing. Like, they wouldn't get it. It's okay. I mean, I'm not hating on Marines, male or female, at all. I just know you guys. The Marines are fantastic. It's just I also try to let them know, male and female Marines both, that we all know how crazy you are. We're very aware of it, and you can't pretend you're not. And if you say you're crazy, I accept that because it's true. Because I saw a Marine once with he was like, yeah, these 10-mile humps are really hard, brother. And he was training. And for deployment. And I was like, oh, wow, yeah, I bet they are. Like, what do you do? And he's like, yeah, last time I was out on one of these, I got in trouble. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, why was that? And he goes, well, they said I wasn't hydrating enough. And I was like, well, that'll get you, man. And he goes, yeah, they also took issue with my canteen full of Skittles. I imagine this Marine passing out in a fucking, desert environment. They're like, we got a heat casualty. And they take his canteen and open it to dump it on him, and out come, Skittles. Just no. I love how he says there's a lot of pressure from Navy brass. Like, you can name names. You could be like, hey, the pack sync, wants extra Y. I love you can keep doing this, and they just keep turning, because they wouldn't. They would just start smoking. I mean, Marines are great. I love them. They're some of my favorite people. They're just weird. And I think, oh, that's good. Is this some Live Leak shit? Or
Yes. This is like video of Kojima's sister or something, if I recall correctly.
Which is saying to record is
Yeah.
Go Kojima. Kojima, why? Jesus. They're losing their minds. Oh no. Oh. Double officer is the wrong thing.
Yeah,
That's
double
what makes
officer was the wrong one. It angers the Marine Corps.
Well, that's the thing, is it's like someone asked me my opinion on like Marines, and I said they're just this one gestalt entity of noise and violence that consumes crayons and bacon. And I don't know like the in between. I've read Max Boots and his books, and I've read Small Arms Small Wars, and I know their history from the Barbary Pirates to, of course, the Banana Republic era. But it's like I have a hard time explaining them, because every single one I've met is a bearer of some sacred, strange bond of very weird people. And they all just kind of nod at each other as though they purchased the ticket to the same very odd ride.
Their basic training has a lot more to do with indoctrinating them into the Marine Corps than it does actually training them for their job. Because Navy basic training is learning how to be a sailor. Marine basic training is about proving you are enough to be a Marine.
And then they send you to infantry school.
Yeah, then you go to infantry school to learn how to fight.
Yeah, so they basically beat the shit out of you, and they're like, you don't fit in the mold, and then they throw you to infantry school. And every Marine I've met has said, no, and I'm like, yes, and then they go, yes, and then we start talking about like M14s and stuff. It's one of those things. Male Marines, female Marines, they all want an M14.
Even the cameraman has fucking M4.
Combat cameraman is a very difficult job, and I will tell you this much. Mike knows how to run these cameras, and I think he'll tell you that, a rifle doesn't really help you, but it will help you with, like, the Union. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It will help that much.
I do appreciate that the Commandant's so fucking blind he doesn't see me back here.
Well, it's because all he can do is squint, point with 4 fingers, and say outstanding, and deliver anecdotes about his time in military service and what it taught him in his time in military service. In some years, he will retire and then sell these things to the government for a lot of money.
Oh, I zoom.
Good.
Man, he's got a bad case of Bethesda face, you know?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Because that's what I always call it, where it's like shapes that are human shapes. You know what I mean? Like,
without actually being, yeah.
When the shape is just sliders, when you're like, well, what ethnicity are they, or how old are they, or like, are they a man or a woman, and you can't tell because Bethesda face, because it's all just sliders. So it's like they are human shaped, and you're like, eh. We cannot afford to play Russian roulette again. That's why we're buying the most expensive thing we ever have.
So,
Sir, this sounds like Russian roulette. How dare you?
I put the cameraman to sleep. If you do that and then you go back into the last room, the camera no longer follows the commandant. It just, as he walks by it, going back and forth, it stays because the cameraman has been put to sleep.
And again, these are great fucking details on a
Yeah,
game.
they're wonderful. They're
yeah.
stupid things, but it doesn't make up for all of this.
Yeah, it's yeah.
No, so my uncle bought this game for PlayStation 2 cuz he got it on opening day. And I was like, well, the games I have been playing I've beat them. Let me try this one cuz this one looks weird.
Okay, this works.
So I played it and I was like, wow, 7-year-old me at the time was just absolutely
Don't need a shot from the front.
flabbergasted by all of the weird Tom Clancy shit going on here.
Hey, this is
It is strange.
So I played it like 5 or 6 times, and then Metal Gear Solid 3 was announced, and in excitement, I played it another like 6 times. I was like, oh, it's important I know all of these details for Metal Gear Solid 3 so I can follow what's going on. And Metal Gear Solid 3 was what it was.
Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favorite because it's before all the other bullshit. It barely ties in with it, and it's a Bond movie. I love Bond movies. I love even bad Bond movies. I just watch them, and if they're bad, I talk over them, and if they're good, I talk over them. I'm a bad person to watch movies with, but I also wonder why they have like a fucking battery test station that's connected to the internet that you just interacted with. I'm just wondering why there's like an AC Delco like battery test station that's like internet connected. So here we go. Ba, ba, ba.
Intruder to the right.
So here's what I'm thinking is what if you just like blew this whole program up by like sinking the boat right now?
Yeah. I mean, that would put an end to it. Unless
like,
somebody who's a cowboy Russian got involved and
Oh my
stole
God.
the robot.
It's like the story revolves around him. We're gonna get some hate mail for that.
Yeah, probably. We deserve it, though.
You know what's really great when you're hacking into anything is to leave an avatar that sounds and looks exactly like you everywhere, like it's Shadowrun, but dumb, because not a lot of people can do this, and you've just confirmed your fingerprint. Thank you, weirdo.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't need a gun to fight terrorism. I'd be like, tell that to terrorists. You fucking weirdo. Like, did he not think that these New World Order people might have guns?
Evidently not. Oh yeah, there we go. And everybody will hold that salute for a very long, awkward time because you can't release until the officer releases, and Scott Dolph, Marine Commandant, does not release his fucking salute. Huh? That's the Army thing. I spent time with soldiers, not Marines, primarily.
Every Marine I've ever met has invited me at some point or another. Every Marine. What if they all just turned and fucking drilled him? Right
Are they still holding salutes?
That's what I mean. Is like, what if he comes out and starts clapping and he's like, well, and then like 80 fucking M4s unloaded to him, and he's just gone. Like he's literally dead instantly.
I want to know when the Marine Corps adopted the bayonet lug flashlight mount, because that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I also don't know, like why this snowy-haired elderly gentleman is such a routine threat to global security. Like, why is this like?
I want to know why the Marine Commandant's wearing a Russian soldier's belt over his.
I also want to know why the Marines have not shot him about 300 or 400 times, And like I think it would have been a running gun battle. Like the third clap, I think on the third clap he did as he walked out, they would have dumped every single round they had into him, and then they would have gone over there with fire extinguishers and beat the pulp flat, and then eaten some crayons. I think it would have been over.
Oh, and nobody notices the fat guy. He's really quiet, you know?
Yeah, you know, the again, I'm not sure what Kojima thinks that special forces are, that they're like some sort of magical creature that does things. I don't think he understands like factually what the military is, like in reality.
Oh yeah, those guys are just gonna hang out in the hold like, oh, what's going on?
They're like, hey, this briefing got real.
This ship now carries enough Simtex on its key.
I would have given him so much credit if the people I tranked in the crowd were still asleep in those panning shots.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, we have enough Simtex to destroy this whole ship. And I'd be like, you're on the ship.
Yeah, okay, let's fuck around and find out.
Yeah, I would be like, yeah, I'd just be sitting there being like, you mean the ship on which you are currently still on? And he goes, ah, fuck. And you're like, yeah, that's dumb. Are you, why? Why didn't you plan this out? And he's like, well, Grandpa here said he was very sneaky.
They call me Stealth Grandpa. That's not until Metal Gear Solid 4.
I don't get it. So, like, what do you intend to do with Ray on the streets? Backstory.
Yep.
I have a backstory.
It is now
I will tell it to you.
o'clock.
Your home was bought out? Like, did an American company come in and was like, ha ha ha, you know what I want to do in the capitalism game, by Jove? I'm going to take up my railroad profits and I'm going to buy a former Russian test site. Capital, I will corner the market on strontium 90. I mean, what is the point? Like, it's so laughable. It's like, what is your background? My parents are dead. Unfortunate.
Yeah, relatable,
but
I suppose.
Yeah, but it's just like, what is this guy's motivation? Why would he say it? Like, and then he's just walking up and he's like, I bought these boots on the Tuesday Boot Company and my feet hurt.
No,
so I need to leave
those
now.
are Justin's. He got those at fucking...
I'm a GRU officer, and I bought these shoes at Target.
Yes.
No hard feelings, Colonel.
The guy's name is Solidus. I mean, come on. How many crosses do we need? Like, I think the guy who's been holding that M9 for like 10 minutes is like, fuck this, and just pops one of them. I think that's what would happen. It'd just be like, tired, bang.
Oh no, everyone's favorite sextuple agent has turned coat again.
Hey, all he's doing is making grump-ass face, that old guy.
Yeah.
Because he's like, what's going on?
My eyes are rather puffy from this angle.
Damn you! And this is just how it works, for some reason. Like, I don't get what this guy's deal is. Oh yeah, he's gotta throw that coat off.
Oh yeah, it's made of parachute silk. That's why it didn't just flop to the ground immediately.
Yeah. Die, you dog. And he shoots through his own coat. And he's like, haha. And then everyone else unloads 10,000 rounds because it's just started a firefight.
Yeah.
And it's 5.56 bullet after 5.56 round goes through everyone in that room and the walls. He goes,
Yeah,
he dies.
we should leave the revolver there. It's evidence now.
Yeah.
Drop it
Yes,
where
of
it needs
course.
to be. And the Marines still have not begun firing.
Yeah, I think the Marines would have dusted him at like 8 different points, which would have been an interesting ending.
And he's now completely out of ammunition. He just emptied his second revolver and holstered it empty.
He's like, I like to reload. Bap! Dead.
Yeah, the man is literally unarmed now.
If you wish to live, I suggest you run now. This ship
If
is
you
still in the
wish to
Lower New
live,
York
like,
harbor. You may yet make it to shore if you swim for your
I mean,
life.
why at any would they even be able to hear him? Like, what's? I love the thrill of reloading in battle. Hey, did you know if you set off explosions inside something?
Why did the
it's
floor
not-
explode?
Well, dude, it's Star Trek.
Yeah, this is going on Star Trek rules.
Yeah, it's
We hit explosives in the TV screen. They'll never suspect.
yeah, and he's just kind of taking his time because plot armor.
If the Solid Snake waddle through water, it's patented.
Yeah. Ocelot. Like, he's just standing there having a moment. He's like, he's just starts saying Doctor Strangelove shit, you know? Just up this.
He should have. That would have been better.
That would have been hilarious. Instead of like weird 1980s brother flashback. Oh, it's been a while, brother. A hand takes over a brain. That is the future. Brain hand. Bang,
That's
bang, bang,
clearly
bang.
its masturbation arm. It's so much thicker than the other.
I would just shoot him like 12 times. I would have
I put
emptied
Liquid's
four-
arm on my arm so it feels like someone else.
Ew.
Sorry, I had to say it.
I would just shoot this guy again, like all the time while he's having this like existential crisis. I'd be like, shame, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
The price of physical prodigy.
I would have just ended it.
Another dead clone of the old man. Our raw materials are vintage, brother. Big Boss was in his late 50s when they created his copies.
Recessive genes, yada yada.
But I live on through this arm.
Uh-huh. Again, Kojima reminding us for some reason the importance of genes. Like, preachy bud, but like...
No,
damn.
genes are super important, man. I got a pair of 501s. They've been with me like a decade.
Hey, did you know that it's the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, that is taking control of Ocelot?
Is it? That makes sense,
I
though.
thought so.
I mean, all that energy.
Ah, yes, people are orderly using ladders and not biting each other. That guy fell several feet.
Into water.
Wouldn't it be funny if he got in and it was like, it was like invalid user?
Or this
It
is
was
the
just
floor
like,
model.
yeah.
This was never intended
Yeah.
as a production model vehicle.
Or even worse, it's not even watertight. Like, it's a mock-up. Like, he gets in it and it's a wooden scale model. Like, he just sits there and he's like, oh.
No, we weren't going to go test it in Bermuda. This was going to War and Peace.
To disable demonstration mode, please enter the store manager's ID code. Thank you,
On the
Chip.
back, you'll find a panel. Please exit demo mode by switching from demo to on. I'm sorry, you have not paid for machine gun ammunition. Please enter your credit card information to activate this feature.
Oh, God. I just love that for no reason, it's dumb in all the worst ways. And it's just like, I want to
Oh, now they're shooting.
Yeah, now people aren't shy with fucking bullets. Like, what the fuck?
That's not nearly far enough to activate an M203. That's like 10 feet. Those things are spin activated.
Yeah, but they're Marines. They're gonna use them. You know they will. What if, like, at any point, just at any point, they sank the ship before this happened?
Oh, you mean like
know.
detonating the Semtex on all the structural components? That causes
Yeah,
an
like what?
immediate game over any other time you look at it wrong?
That's what I mean. It's like, what if they, that would have been hilarious. That would have been my favorite.
They really do like showing off Snake's asset.
Well, sure. I mean, everyone needs eye candy, and that's the idea. Is he's showing that this is also like a heroic hero, and I think that's, you know, why you have your Robert E. Howard Conan style heroes looking the way they do as portrayed in media like this, because they're like, ah, yes, we want them to look heroic. You know, they have to look in all the ways that we ascribe to being heroic, and you know, some shaggy, crazy person with a beard who's like all wiry doesn't fit their definition of
How
hero.
would you put a water cannon as your primary weapon on your nuclear-capable anti-nuclear tank? Walking robot.
I think it's funny that Kojima wanted to ground so many things in what he conceived as realism with the gun fu, and then contrast it with this, and then thinking that it's a contrast. But I see them both as extensions of the same nonsense.
Yeah, it's anime logic, both with the firearms choices and with the Metal Gear stuff. He just hides the firearm stuff a little bit better. And I fully admit that this is weeaboo stuff. I still love it. Like, I'm hating on it, but it's amazing. It is so ridiculous. We're not even into the crazy stuff if you haven't seen Metal Gear Solid 2 yet.
Oh, I like the third game. I liked the third game a lot. The first one was tough for me. I don't know why. The second one I beat twice, and I thought it was okay. I love the little details in it, where, you know, looking down the sights and running around, that was a nice addition to the game, and I thought that was really cool because it made all of the areas, you know, easier to explore.
Yeah.
It added dimension to it.
Oh, here we go. The big reveal. Not the backflip. Although, something that large diving into New York Harbor, like, there's a tsunami in Lower Manhattan as a result of this incident.
I would think so.
People are like, I don't know. I mean, they say the ship just sunk, but we had a lot of wacky stuff going on.
Yeah, there was that giant robot that backflipped off the boat that everyone saw because it's in Lower New York Harbor.
Yeah.
I would say the Marine Corps' plans are on definite hold. Like, what would the Marines need with this thing?
My favorite part is that it's the president hired him to stop the Marine Corps. He's an octuple agent.
Like, why? I don't... It's
just...
the
man who could order the Marines to stop had to hire the world's most premier old guy spy.
It's just like... I mean, I understand that there is like a whole behind-the-scenes proliferation, a lot of lore
there is.
I'm sure there is. It's just... Here's the thing, is when we sit here and look at the scope of a game, I have to look at what's shown to me. Like, what is shown to me in the screen. And I can gripe about that all day. But I'm sure there's a lot more to it that I'm not seeing. It's just, I'm treating this like a film because it's being presented to me as a film.
It is. And I think that is a natural point to end it. The end of the tanker chapter. Because we're at about the 2-hour mark, which is where we wanted to cut it.
I understand. And next time we're gonna see this.
We may have to break the plant chapter up into 2. That's about a 4-hour chunk, but
that, and it's a lot of retracing for the same areas, but it's also a lot of weird set pieces.
Absolutely.
Oh wow, are those New York garbage men? No, they don't have enough medals.
No, not nearly.
If you ever want to see that, by the way, go out and look at the New York City, like, sanitation general or whatever. Their head of that thing looks like a fucking general from our Statska. Seriously, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you can.
Oh yeah, play with the cameras.
Yeah, play with the cameras in the cutscenes too. No, yeah, the New York Department of Sanitation runs itself like another law enforcement agency of New York, which
Yeah,
is
their uniforms look
scary and
amazing.
wonderful.
Yeah, well, you'd have to. It would have to be a giant logistical enterprise to do stuff like that. I mean, moving that much crap in a big city has got to be
Yeah.
nuts.
So, all right. Well, I think that's probably where we will end it, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so now we get to hear our new character hero, Raiden Man.
Yep. At the beginning of the next one, we'll go through that cutscene again, and we'll pick up with Mr. Raiden.
Mr. Raiden.
Mr. Raiden. It's
What
been
have
a
you done?
pleasure, folks.
Otacon, I'm scared and I'm gonna live in the walls. You can't stop me. It's fun in here.